So far this is what we've got and what you should have done. So you want to fold your piece in half, and I've got the short sides at the top there together. So see how my two short sides are together, so fold it like that. You don't want it so your long sides are together. Sure, you can make it that way if you like, completely up to you, but this is how I'm going to do it. So I've got two short sides together at the top. That is where our handles are going to go up the top here, and then on the sides here we're going to gather it up to make our bag. So let's get started on the side of the bag, and then we will do the top for the handles. So deciding what colour you want to use for your side part of your bag, I'm just going to use the grey. We are going to attach it to the side here. So just loop in your yarn over your hook, pulling it through the stitch on the corner, and then we are going to do a chain to secure it onto the piece, pulling down at the back. My dog's inside with me today, so if you can hear noises in the background, it's him. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using the single crochet stitch, so we're going to chain one. What we're going to do is we're going to just be working into these gaps that are created on the side here. You're not going to crochet over the chain that's going from left to right, just the edge of the blanket that is here. So going into the next space, you're going to work a single crochet. And normally if we're going to put a border on here, I would work two into this stitch, into this space here, because there's a chain, a couple of chains on the edge here, so you'd need a couple of stitches in there. But we want to gather it up, so we're only going to do one, and hopefully this will gather our sides up, because it won't have enough stitches on there, so it's going to make it tighter. I do film a lot of my videos as I go and hope for the best. And if it doesn't turn out, you guys don't see the video, and if you're actually watching this, it means it worked. So we're just going in each space and we're working a single crochet. And see how it's starting to gather. It's not laying flat. That is what we need. And when we get to the end, if it's not gathered enough, then we can do some decreasing on the next row. I just want this row nice and neat, so it's just one in every stitch, every gap that we have on the end here. So I'm just going to finish this off until I get to the end of the row and then catch up with the next part. So as you're going along, this is not going to sit flat, and that's what it's supposed to do. So I don't think that mine has decreased enough for the side of my bag, so I'm just going to fold it out and have a look. So what we're trying to do is make it so it's half the size that it was before. The way you can test that is fold your bag on both sides, grab your shorter bit, so these two are just folded up, and then lay it out and see how long it is. So it's only shrunk by about an inch with mine. Yours might be a bit more, a bit less, but I think we need to shrink it up a bit more. So to do so, you don't have to if you don't want to. If you don't want to, you can just work one single crochet in each stitch across, because that's what we will do after this row, but I'm actually going to decrease this even more, and this is how you can do it. You're going to chain one, and we're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch. So it's the single crochet that we did from the previous row, so a single crochet into that stitch, and over the next two stitches we're going to do a single crochet decrease. So going into the stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, you've got two. Leaving these two loops on the hook, you want to go into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, you've got 1, 2 and 3, yarning over and pulling through all three. So what we're going to do is we're going to work one stitch by itself, then a decrease, then one stitch by itself. So every second stitch that we do is going to be a decrease. So the next one needs to be just one normal one by itself. And then the next one is going to be a decrease. So working that first part of the single crochet, leaving these 2 loops on the hook, into the next stitch, pulling up a loop, you've got 3, yarning over, pull all 3. So the next one needs to be one by itself. And then the next one needs to be a decrease. So do this all the way to the end. If you get to the end and it doesn't work out even, don't panic too much. It is not going to matter, because when we do our other side, it's going to be exactly the same. So I've done my row of my decreasing, and it's almost half the size. So I'm going to leave it there. If you want to make it smaller again, by all means, go on and repeat the row we just did. Once you've done all your rows of decreasing, then just work one row of single crochet all the way back across. So what you're going to do is chain 1 and 1 single crochet in each stitch across. Easy as that. So when you get to the end, we want to finish off and do exactly the same on the opposite side of what we have just added this border. So if this is our short side, you want to go on the other side and do along this edge here exactly what we just did, and this will give us the sides of our bag. So now we want to do exactly the same on the other sides as well. And when you get to the end, you will have the part left over from the other side that we did, so just work across that too. And also, now depending on how you want your bag to look, is where you're going to add on your handles now. And I deliberately left off the handles from each side so that now you can decide which way you want your bag to go. So this is the shortest edge, which originally I was going to have for the top of my bag for where my handles are going to go. And that gives you, so I'm just putting that in there to give it a bit of bulk. That gives you that sort of look. You've got there's an opening there. You could sew up the side there if you didn't want it so large. So that's that kind of look. Or you could, so it's supposed to go that way. Well, it doesn't have to, you can go whichever way you like. Or you could have it and make it so it goes the other way, so your short sides are on the end, and then you add your handles to the top of this side. So the longer side is where you're adding your handles. So depending on the look that you want, if you want it to be a long bag, or if you want it to be a shorter bag and a bit more volume to the bag this way too, you've got a lot more space that way, is depending on where you're going to add your handles. So once you've added your handles, you can't change it unless you pull it undone, of course. So when you've decided where you want to add your handles, then you want to continue on with the next part of the video. So once we have decided what side we want to put our handles on, I'm going to option for the long side. We want to add our handles row, and all it is just going to be single crochet in each stitch. I'm just going to move the camera, so hang on. So we just, like I said, need to do one single crochet in each stitch, and we want to add another 5 rows to what we already have. So we already have 3 rows, and then we just want to add 5 more rows of single crochet, 1 in each stitch, and then we want to repeat for the other side that we're going to add our handles to as well. So after you've finished your 8 rows, you'll have this. If you're going to add plastic handles and this isn't long enough to wrap around the plastic handle, pretend my finger is a plastic handle, if it's not large enough to wrap around and to be able to stitch down on the back, you're going to need to add some more rows. If you are going to do the crochet handles like I'm going to do, you can just do the 8 and that will be fine. Mine is about 1 inch tall. There is also another video that I'm going to put a link to. Fabulous video. It was her first video as well. Bobby, another Bobby, here on YouTube. I cannot remember her username. I think it is Sweet Country Girl. I will put a link in for that one. So let's get started on the one that I do, but if you wanted a different type of handle, go and check out the other video as well. It is a very good tutorial and absolutely perfect for a first one too. So let's get started on the handles. So make sure you've done this side, and then I still need to do the other side, and then we will start on putting our handles on. So we have our bag, and you're either going to have the long version or the shorter version, depending on how you decided to do your handles, and you should have both handles done and also the sides done here. So now it's time to make the tabs and the handles that go on. There are a few different options on how to do your handles. I am going to show you one option. I will also put in a link for some other really cool handles as well. Great tutorial. It's not my video, but I will show you the link for that one. And I do have another video of my own that has bag handles too, so I'll put that one in, but it's not really relevant to this bag, but I don't know, you may be able to adapt it somehow. So what we're going to need for our bag handles, let's just get it out of the way, are some of these rings. They are just metal rings. Excuse the noise when I open the packet. Just metal rings. These are 50 millimeters, which is 2 inches across. So you're going to need 4 of those. They don't have to be the exact size, but I chose the bigger ones because I thought they would look really cool. So you want them reasonably sturdy. You could probably use those big split rings as well that you can find. These weren't very dear either. I can't remember how much they were, but I think they're like $1.50 at my local shop, Spotlight, which I think is basically equivalent to Joanne Fabrics, Michael's, and any shop like that. So you need 4 of those. And then, I've already done mine, but I'm still going to show you how to do it, so don't panic. We're going to make, just adjust the camera, we're going to make 2 handles to 2 big strips, and all these ends are for sewing them on and sewing them together. So we're going to need 2 of the long ones and 4 of these little tabs. And what these tabs are and the handles, what they're going to do, I've already done one so you can see what it's going to look like. You're basically going to do that. So your handle's at the top and your tabs are down the bottom, and then this is going to attach to our bag, and the little tab is going to go on the end there, or you could move it across, entirely up to you where you want to place yours, and then the other one goes on the other side up here. So let's see how to make the handles. And what I did for my bag, I used 1 strand of yarn at the time, but for my handles I actually used 2 strands of yarn at the same time because I just sort of wanted them really thick. If you don't line your handles, they are going to stretch. So bearing in mind, if you aren't lining your handles, make your handles that little bit shorter than what you actually want them, because they do stretch quite a bit. With these little tabs, they're not going to stretch too much. So, to make the handle, I'm grabbing your yarn, which I don't even know where mine is, so I'm going to have to go and find it, and I'll be back. When making your tabs and your straps, make sure you leave a long tail. You're going to be using this to sew this tab closed, and also sewing the tab onto the bag. And when you use your strap, you're going to use it to sew your strap onto here. So don't forget, leave those tails long. If you don't and you forget, it doesn't matter, you can just attach a piece of yarn. I'm back. For this project I actually used Motivera Marvel. It's made in Australia. I think it's pretty much the Spotlight sort of own brand. So I used 2 strands of yarn, and one of the balls was being nice and the other one wasn't, and it wouldn't. You know how you get your centerpole balls? It wouldn't do that. It was driving me crazy. So, grabbing your yarn, you're going to use 2 strands, making your slip knot, however you do it. So I've got 2 strands of 8 ply, which is equivalent to double knit, and 4 ply yarn, I think it is in the US. And I have a 6mm or a J or a size 10 hook. But if you've got different yarn, just use a hook that is going to give you really tight stitches. So it's basically a small hook than you're supposed to be doing. So depending on how wide you want your handles is how many chains you're going to do. So I did, I think it was 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then I used the half double crochet stitch. You can use double crochet or single crochet, completely up to you what stitch you use. I use the half double crochet, so it's into the second chain from the hook. We don't count the one that's on our hook. Going into the second, this is number 1, number 2. And then pull up a loop. You've got 3 on your hook. You've actually got 6, but 2 of them are counting as 1, so that's 3. And then through all the loops. So you're going to work that all the way across. Like I said, you can pick whatever stitch you like. So we're just half double crocheting or whatever stitch you've chosen all the way across. It's getting quite warm here in Australia. I think it's going to be like 30 degrees today. It's really muggy too, because we had a big thunderstorm with lots and lots of rain last night. So into that last stitch. I'm sure half of you are sitting there in front of the heater whilst I sit here drinking cold water. So what have we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that last one counts as 8. So what you're going to do now, if you use single crochet, you're going to chain 1, half double crochet, you're going to chain 2, and if you chose to do a double crochet, you're going to chain 3. So I chain 2, then you go back across, and you need to work into every stitch across until you get to the end. And I don't know why, but I found with the half double crochet that I thought that was the first stitch, but for some reason it doesn't work out on your stitch count, because we've got 1, 2, 3, hang on, I've got to turn it around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. So that's the last one, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So if I skip this one, I'm actually losing a stitch. So this little bit here must be the first stitch. I don't know, does anybody else get confused there? Anyway, so go into that one, because that gives us 2, 3, and let's just hope it turns out now. Now that I've said that, it's going to. Sorry, my yarn's all tangled up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it does. And 8. So the last one is here. That's our chain from before. So there we go. So then you've got to chain your amount. And then work your way back across. And you're going to keep doing that for the handles, whatever length that you want, really. I have made mine about, I would say, 30 centimetres long or 12 inches, because it is going to stretch, don't forget, if you don't line it. And then for the tabs, that's roughly 2 inches up that way. But you just got to remember that it's got to be big enough, or long enough, wide enough, whatever you want to say, to wrap your ring inside and then be able to be stitched up. You can make this bit as long as you want, you don't have to make them tiny. You get all different looks with different sizes. So you're going to make 4 that are this length, about 2 inches, 4 of these. And then you're going to do exactly the same, chain exactly the same amount, and then make 2 straps. So once we have all of our pieces made, then we need to create something like this, exactly the same, little one on one side, and your big strap on the other, and then the little one on the other side of there. Pop that one aside. You are going to need one of your straps, 2 of your little short ones. You're going to need 2 of these, and your sewing needle, which of course has done the runner. So I'm going to have to go find it and I will be back. Okay, someone ring the International Crisis Hotline because I can't find my needle. Luckily I have a spare, but I know I'm going to find the other one by either sitting on it or standing on it. It's bugging me, I can't find it. Anyway, back to what's going on. You need to thread a needle, and then you are going to wrap your short one around here, and we are just going to sew along here. So it doesn't have to be fancy, just make sure you're grabbing each stitch. Pretty much just going through both loops that are on the end there. So you're going to do this sewing method. I think it's called whip stitching. All the way along. You can sew it however you like, as long as it's sewn together, really. No biggie. And then just on that last one, I just like to thread that back through the loop and just tighten it off. Now leave this thread long because you're going to need to sew this part onto the bag. And sorry guys, I've got to tell you that part when you're making your tab. I'll make sure I put in a little clip there so that it reminds you to do that. So once we have done the little tab, we want to get our strap and sew this on. Now when you do the first part of the strap, it doesn't matter because whichever way it's facing, because it's the first one. But when we sew on the other end, we have to make sure it's both of our inside of our strap is facing on the inside. So just sew this together. If you've got any little tiny ends sticking out, poke them in. And then I'm just grabbing some stitches from the back part and then grabbing it through like so. You could sew sort of in and out both layers if you'd like as well, that'd work. So make sure you subscribe for more videos, because if you're a regular you'll know there's more coming. I do try to upload one a week. And when you're subscribed it will let you know when something's been uploaded, which is great. You don't have to go and have a look and search. It will let you know. We do also have a Facebook and Ravelry page. Make sure you go and check us out over there if you've got Facebook. So now I'm just going to thread back through so that it hides my ends. Snip them off. What's this one here? See, I've got a thread. I was just about to cut that, but I'll have to fix it up. That's all good. And then just snip off your ends, and then we'll go up to the next one. I will fix this after actually, so I don't have to turn the camera off. So just pretend that's not hanging out like that. It's not very professional, is it? But as you can see, no one's perfect and we all make mistakes. So what you need to do now is, because this is the inside of our strap, see how it's got the bit sewn there, got the ugly part, and then the other side has got the nice flat part. You want to make sure that both of these parts are on the inside. So threading your ring, got to make sure it's on the inside. So pushing up the strap like that, and then just sewing that as well, exactly how we did the other end. See how the ugly part is on the inside, and then that's on the inside. Sew those together, and then add your other thing, your other little tab, down on the bottom, and then we'll go on to the next step. So we should have two straps, short piece, long piece, short piece, that look exactly the same. And I'm just making sure my, yes they are, lumpy bits are on the right side, so they're on the one side, which is what they should be. So now, grabbing your bag, we are going to attach our straps, and boys and girls, we are nearly finished. Woohoo! So depending on where you want to put your straps, I am actually probably going to put them on the edge because they are long enough. Yes, they are. If they weren't long enough so they're like fully stretched out, you can move them in a bit. Of course, it's completely up to you. So I'm going to line them up with the edge of the bag. So what we need to do is thread our yarn. If you don't have any yarn, just grab some and just tie it on, because we need to stitch our tabs onto our bag. So I'm just going to line mine up with the edge like so, and then just sew this on. I'm just going to do the bottom, but I'm thinking I might actually try and go all the way around so it makes it nice and firm, and it's not going to pull on one part of the bag. Not quite sure how this is going to go, so we'll just do the bottom part first. I'm just stitching through. Of course, use the same colour as what you made your straps out, and then you won't be able to see where you've stitched it on as much. Excuse me. So it's like that. We've just stitched it on at the bottom. I think that might be okay. Just need to stitch that part down as well. I mean, of course, later on, if you don't like it, you can just go around and stitch it on again. You can just fix her upper if you don't like how it sits. So I'm going to leave it like that, just with the bottom edge attached like so. Of course, you can go along and sew this part to there as well. Might actually do that later on if it doesn't hold nice enough. Yeah, once I've got some things in there and I've used it a couple of times, it'll stretch out and you'll know if you like it or not. So just tying this off. I learnt this little technique from Teresa TJW 1963 on YouTube. Going through that last loop, pulling tight and then sewing your ends in. I don't like to use knots in crochet, but this case it's going to have a lot of weight in this bag, so I think it's a must to tie a knot so it doesn't come undone. So you're going to repeat this on all 4 of your tabs, sew them onto your bag, and then if you've done your lining already, you are done. So I'm going to sew mine on and come back. So here's my finished product. Haha, how cool does it look? I really love this bag. So what I did actually sew the back. This part was the bag part, and I sewn it to the little tab there, because when I was carrying the bag it actually stuck out and looked really odd. So sorry about that, guys, I just wasn't sure how it was going to come out. So I really hope you enjoyed making this bag with me. I know I've enjoyed making it, and I think it looks really awesome. Loving these straps, but you can do them longer if you like. Thanks for watching my video, guys. I really do appreciate it, and make sure you leave some comments and thumbs up the video. I do read every single comment. I can't reply to everybody because there are so many, but I do appreciate you commenting on my video and letting me know if you've made one. You can email me a photo of a finished product to the email in the description box below this video, or you can share it on our Facebook and Ravelry page. And also, if you want to see more of my videos, there is a link to my blog in the description, and that will take you to my blog and show you just about all my videos should be on there. We try to update it weekly. So until next time, happy crochet!